Hi, good evening. So today we're going to be talking about organizational controls. Very important for every business, every organization, and you might even say even in your own personal life. The book discusses the fact that we all understand essentially how to create an objective if you've ever wanted to get good at a sport. Maybe you want to improve your golf game. So you want to create a standard. How good of a golfer do you assume is the standard that you need to meet? Then you want to measure your performance. So you go out golfing. You want to see how well you do. And then you want to take corrective action to improve your golf game, maybe get some lessons. So essentially, you do that in your personal life already. And so this is just applying that to the business world, to your organization. And so those four tools that you're given in order to make that happen in a systematic way is first is establishing the standards to measure the performance of your company. So what are the standards that you want to put as your ground level of what you want to accomplish maybe that first year? So you have your financial goals, your production goals, your customer satisfaction goals. So what are you trying to reach practically and appropriately? So that's step one. And so step two would be measuring your performance. So you may have employee valuations and customer surveys and different ways of being able to measure how well you're doing, to look at if you're achieving those standards. So after you implement those tools of measurement, looking at your customer reviews and your employee evaluations and everything like that, the next step is comparing the performances of your company with the standards that you have, that you've set. So you review your customer satisfaction. You look at your reviews on Google or Yelp, and you look at maybe the surveys that you've given out to your customers. You look at all the receipts for how much money you've been making. You look at what quota you've been making, how much coffee you're producing if you're a cafe, or however t-shirts you're producing. So you look at all the production and the customer satisfaction and all of that, and you want to compare that with the standards that you had set, utilizing the measuring tools that you have in order to be able to compare and contrast. So then lastly, number four is after you've done all that, you simply want to take corrective action. So this might mean if you're falling short of your goals, you want to, how can I motivate my employees to pick up the pace a bit? Are my standards too high? Maybe I need to tone it down a little bit. How can we make our customers more satisfied? What's been going wrong here? Why are they not satisfied? How can we fix that? Maybe we can be nicer, to implement a plan for employees to be nicer in their customer service, or maybe giving them free samples of something, or just so many things you could do in order to achieve those goals. So looking at that from a personal perspective, as somebody who's been married now for maybe 2 years, I really think of this in my interaction with my wife at home. And I really think about how sometimes we maybe comically bicker a little bit on comparing performances with standards. So I might say, well, I thought women were supposed to do this in the house, and she might say, well, my father did this, and you're really falling from that standard. And back in the day, women and men, husbands and wives, they should be doing this. You should be bringing home the bacon more. You should be making more money than I do. So we set these high standards for each other, and we throw those standards at each other a lot. Uh, so um, yeah, so I can't come home and say, oh, I thought you were gonna clean the house. I thought, isn't that a wife's job? And she'll say, well, no, actually, as the husband, you should be doing this. And so we set those high bar standards for each other. We're getting better at, just instead of looking at each other, just setting high standards for yourself and just stepping in and doing that. So it's been a good learning experience. Um, so maybe for the number three, the one I wanted to look at is or sorry, number 4, which is taking corrective action. At my job now, we've implemented a new system using an app, a Slack app, which is kind of like a social an app for social interaction where people can post, almost like a Facebook for your company or whatever. So you can post different pictures, different messages. So a lot of times if somebody's dropping the ball and, like, leaving a big mess somewhere, or not cleaning appropriately, or maybe there's a safety problem where somebody's not locking the door or doing things like that, then we can take a picture, post it publicly, and just put a message to all employees: please make sure that this never happens again. And that's been very efficient because people are not taking it personal, because you're not calling people out publicly. But people don't want to, have continued attention brought to that fact that they keep forgetting something. So it changes right away. People are, the corrective action is taken, and people are doing what they're supposed to do. So we find that, after posting that picture, people clean up after themselves, or they make sure and lock that door. And so things are put right. So it was kind of people were dropping the ball all the time. Since we have this app and you can just snap a picture every time you see a mistake and post it, it's bringing a wonderful example of a corrective action for that issue. So I'm going to stop there, and thank you very much, and on to the next video. God bless and have a good evening.